Hello there and welcome back. On today's news chain we have first electric Ferrari, European Union softening the 2035 storyline, AMG is making quite telling powertrain move, and Toyota just been punishing for smart solution. Yes. Alright, let's start with a Ferrari. Ferrari has named its first electric car and it's Luce. And what's interesting is that Ferrari is choosing to lead with interior and interaction experience rather than it even shows the outside of the car. That alone tells you where the problem in 2026 is. It's not a Ferrari can't make a fast electric car. Anybody with enough batteries and motors can make a fast electric car nowadays. The problem is what the car feels like once the novelty of acceleration wears off. The key detail here is a collaboration with one design studio, Love Form. That studio was founded by Jony Ive himself and his friend Mark Newson. On paper, Apple design people can sound like a threat for enthusiasts, especially for Ferrari fans, because the modern industry version of minimalism often means the same lazy interior template, one big large screen, fewer physical controls or even absence of it, and a car that behaves like a device you lease until the next software generation. But what the early coverage of Luce suggests is that Ferrari is doing something quite opposite. The cabin is described as tactile and material serious. Glass, metal, proper engineered switchgears, and a multi-display layout that treats a driver like an instrument cluster rather than a tablet hold. In other words, Ferrari seems to understand that if their first EV feels like just a premium gadget, they have already lost. A Ferrari can't be a nice tech. It has to feel like a product with ritual, friction, and intent, even if the engine is gone. There is also a very practical point hiding behind the romance. The reporting mentions that the car weighs around 2300 kilograms. So, whatever light means in the name Luce, this won't be physically light in real world. But still, it's lighter than a new M5 G90, because that boat is so heavy that even a Ferrari with their Luce, which technically a smaller version of Purisan, still lighter than M5. It's pretty interesting. That matters because mass changes everything. How the car changes direction, how the brakes feel over time, how the chassis communicate. If you can't rely on low weight and engine drama, the interior experience and the control interfaces have to carry more of the emotion load. So, for me, as I said, Ferrari Luce is a smaller version of Purisan, but electric as well. And the point here is that it's still Ferrari, even so it's electric, because whatever Ferrari will build, the people, especially fans, will be so happy about it, even though it's a tractor in a Formula 1 race. Yeah, so now zoom out, because the next story is basically the politician version of the same scene. Ideology meeting reality. European Commission's proposal effectively softens the 2035 all new cars should be zero emissions direction by changing target language. The key technical shift here is that from 100% of CO2 reduction is reduced to 19% compared to 2021. That sounds like a small change if you will read it like a headline, but in reality, especially in policymakers, it's so massive, because 100% is a hard cliff. It pushes the market into one way, while 90% creates a room for hybrids and even just pure combustion engines, what is actually nice. And personally, on my opinion, the more time will pass, the lower that percent will drop. And I believe it will drop maybe up to 50% or even lower than that. Because I personally do not believe that we will have only 10% of hybrids by 2035. It's like impossible number to achieve. But the real reason it matters isn't whether you like electric cars or you don't like pure combustion engines. It matters because it changes how manufacturers plan. When policy become less absolute, product planning become less ideological and more regional, more precise, sensitive, and more frankly political. The industry has been trying to run on a simple narrative rules for a few years. Everyone transition on the same pace and the market will follow. But the market doesn't follow narratives. It follows incentives, total cost of ownership, and if the buyer will see a value in your car. So the takeaway isn't Europe change its mind overnight. The takeaway is that policymakers are trying to avoid to trap themselves between two bad outcomes. Consumer resisting the products at the price point, while manufacturers get punished through fines and targets that were written as if a demand is guaranteed. But in a world we are living, there is nothing guaranteed. And once the policy story becomes flexible, you will see more correction on the product side. The AMG story is exactly that. Autocar described the updated Mercedes GLC 53 powertrain error-worked 3-liter turbo straight 6 with a 48-volt starter generator mounted in the gearbox. The system total quoted at 450 horsepower and 600 Nm with overboost mode that lifts torque up to 660 Nm for up to 10 seconds per one activation. Now, if you read that as just a number update, you miss a real signal. The headline is an architecture. A straight 6 isn't just a drivetrain choice, it's a statement what brands actually thinks what it should be, not just a some car with 4-cylinder or a V8 4-liter twin-turbo engine. Because people don't buy AMG products primarily because they are the most rational way to move. No, not at all. They buy them because of the engine and response define the identity of the car. That identity has to be felt instantly. It can't require a lecture. And good news that electrification here is not being presented as main personality of that engine. It's just a support system here for response, torque feel, smoothing and efficiency benefits where they are useful. But the emotional layout is back in mechanical beast that reads premium without any explanation or PowerPoint presentation. That's a win in a real world. So I see this as a correction driven by what customer rewards with their money. Not AMG going backward, but I wish so they will give us a proper C63 version. It's AMG acknowledging that the character is a part of the spec sheet, whether the marketing wants to admit it or not. And finally, a small Toyota recall that's worth discussing specifically because it looks small. It's a perfect example of real life exposing the weak points in a modern design. Toyota is recalling more than 140,000 Priuses because the electronically controlled rear doors may not correctly lock and may accidentally open due to a water intrusion. The detail that makes this story sick is that the trigger water mixed with a detergent. Basically, the kind of thing you get on your normal car wash use can contribute to a short circuit that activates the switch and allows the door to release under certain conditions. Just imagine you going home from your work, it was a really hard day, and at one time your rear door decided to open itself, just for fun. Like, why not? Your day should be harder than that. So be ready. Toyota's remedy is to modify the rear door handle switch circuitry so it won't activate even if it becomes shorted. Owners' notifications are expected in late March 2026. And it's a small reminder that even such huge company like Toyota can still make such mistakes. And it's more like system design mistakes. We keep turning basic mechanical interaction into electronic systems, and electronic systems has a failure mode that appear only when a product meets messy reality. Water, detergent, vibration, time, temperature, switches and logic. And the industry keeps learning the same lesson. The brochure environment is clean, but the ownership is not at all. So yes, it's a recall and it's being addressed, but it's also a neat reminder of the broad theme running through that episode. The smart solution often works beautifully up to the moment until real life shows up. And then you find out whether the engineering was designed for people or just for presentation. So this is all news for today. I'm Storm, drive safe, and I will see you next video.